Welcome back. There's a huge push for more cities and towns to rely less on driving solo to and from places and becoming a walkable place, but it is hard to achieve.
It is. So maybe you've heard of the terminology, a walkable city. So it's pretty much where the design of the city and the safety of the city benefits the people who are out walking versus the people who are driving. Right. And there was this viral TikTok. His name is John. He goes by the Happy Urbanist. This is in Tennessee. And so he documented his walk to his neighborhood public pool, which isn't very far away. And he's talking about this one particular road that is very unsafe for people out walking. Take a listen.
This road is incredibly unsafe, with it being 4 lanes and a sidewalk bumped right up against the road. It's exposing pedestrians to really fast traffic. But I want you to notice something. Things like light poles are offset. Clearing obstacles away from cars is what is known as a clear zone. Essentially, it gives cars a little space to recover if they go off track before they damage or hit anything. But the irony of this is that humans inhabit the clear zone. And just a reminder, people do have to walk here. Not a lot of curb cuts, which makes a challenge for accessibility. Mind you, jaywalking is not illegal in Tennessee. You can do it. In fact, that is an unofficial unmarked walk. Pedestrians technically have right-of-way and vehicles should stop, but they don't. I guarantee you, if that mother and child I showed you earlier got hit crossing the street, then the first paragraph of the news article would mention that she was not in a crosswalk. What would you expect her to do? To walk a half a mile that way to the next lit intersection and then walk a half mile back with a small toddler? When you make the safe option inconvenient, you incentivize risky behavior.
It's so true.
Yeah, it is true. Now, this is in Tennessee, but I know we do have some very similar challenges here in Pittsburgh, and I know that's happened to me before, where you're not at a crosswalk, but you need to cross, and it is you. I have Logan out in the stroller, and I have to walk like 3 blocks down the road to cross the street.
So glad you brought up a stroller. This city is thriving right now for so many reasons, but one of them being that it has been named time and time again one of the best cities to raise a family in. Mm-hmm. And how are we going to be that city without being able to transport our children into these public places? Yeah. I always have a stroller. I feel like now in my life, I'm just in that chapter. Yeah. There is no way, especially the terrain.
It's hard. It's very difficult.
Well, and not just that, too. I mean, we have to think about everybody in this situation, too. Megan Schiller, I feel like this was probably a couple of years ago, did a couple investigative pieces about accessibility for people who use wheelchairs, who are unable to get around because of there's no grade down to allow for wheelchair access for some of the. So even if there are sidewalks, sometimes they're not even working in the favor of everyone who wants to use them.
Yeah, I know you just recently purchased a home, and I know when I did not too long ago, you look for those walkability scores on Zillow or whatever search engine you're using to find a house, because it really does matter.
It reminds me so much too. I've talked about this time and time again because it's an article that stayed with me. Sean Collier did an editorial piece for Pittsburgh Magazine a while ago, and it was specifically talking about parking. Yes. But it was also about.
I remember that conversation.
It was also about a walkability, and that if we're making it so hard and so expensive for people to drive into the city, and we're not creating a safe place for people to walk, then we are not going to thrive as a city.
And if they can't afford to park.
And they can't afford to park to even come in. So it's like we're not winning in any of those categories if we're not looking at some of these big problems.
And I was just talking to my parents about this, about they're going to take a trip to Cape May here in a couple weeks. And Cape May is a Jersey town where it's all flat. Obviously, we're never going to get that here. But my mom said the #1 thing that she loves about the city is that they park the car when they get there, and they grab it when they leave. They go everywhere. They go shopping. They can do all these restaurants. And she said it keeps them out all day. Can you imagine local business and the local economy if we had walkable shopping like that?
Yeah.
I know the 3 women at this table could do some serious damage.
We could.
If I never had to ever get back in my car.
Put on my sneaks and
sign me up.
And I know they're going to have to make some changes really soon because we're hosting the NFL draft coming here, and people are going to be walking all around downtown. So
that is right.